Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at 205 Torres Street here in Molalla. I describe everything as if you're standing in the road facing the front of the house. We are currently to the right of the front doorway. So I'll give you a landmark here. So the clean out access just to the right of the doorway here. There's your doorway. You got this little pop out window here. Hello, kitty cat. The clean out lines up perfectly with the vent. It is absolutely smack dab. If you go right to the middle of that vent and do a straight line out, there's your clean out right there. And it's not a square head thread-on cap. It's a friction style plug. So anyway, 3-inch ABS clean out. We're going to check the overall condition, serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero the foot counter out here at the base of the clean out access. And off we go. And I apologize, got my auto leveling camera. It's in the shop right now, so my newer wireless system unfortunately does not allow me to manually flip the screen and mirror it, so it's always upright. Alright, so right here, that has the appearance there. I'm going to take a second look at that, but it looks like you got a root that's punching through the top of the pipe there. We'll take a second look though. It's kind of a hard one in that it looks like there's some stringy stuff underneath it, but you've got some buildup that's occurred over the top. We'll take a second look, but that looks very much like that. Transitioning here to 4-inch PVC pipe. Absolutely spotless clean sewer line. I mean, that right there is precisely how you want your flow line to look. And that's made possible by essentially one living habit, and that is not putting grease, fats, and oils down your kitchen sink drain. After 13 years of scoping sewer lines, I honestly am more concerned. We're going into a belly here, and I can see the paint markings out in the road that I indicated that was going on. But I'm honestly more concerned these days, especially on a modern smooth plastic pipe like this, about thick grease buildup than I am a lot of structural issues. Grease buildup is often in conjunction with other improper things, wipes, balled up toilet paper, stuff like that. It's often what turns something like a belly into something that can actually cause a problem. Otherwise, bellies like you've got here, not that they can't theoretically lead to an issue, but typically they do so when the line is not being treated correctly. You take that same belly and you put it in old cast iron pipe that's got really rough pipe walls, old concrete pipe, different animal altogether. That combination is not a great one. In plastic pipe like this, and part of the reason I mention that is sounds like the city's responsible out here. I believe where the belly's at. I'm going to go locate and see where it is to double check everything. But bellies can be lived with, especially when you got a newer line like this. It's got smooth plastic pipe walls. The big thing is treating it right. Keep it to folded toilet paper only. No wipes, flushable wipes, paper towels. You know, the stuff you know shouldn't go down the line. Your mom taught you. That's the big thing. And flushable wipes are a new one on the scene. Do not use them, especially on a line that has a belly in it. They don't disintegrate properly like they're supposed to, and they will build up like a paper towel does. Toilet paper, if it does hang up for a moment, it breaks down and disintegrates. Anyway, we've hit the main here at about 44 feet. We're going to go locate that, and then we'll pull back once the line's drained. All right, line might still be draining off here. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to pull back here, and then we'll locate the start of the belly, see where that's at. Yeah, it looks like someone flushed some debris down the line. It looks like a wrapper of some kind up on the pipe wall there. It's meaningless. The belly there, it goes all the way up to basically just shy of the main lateral. Right about that little nose dive into the main there, about the last 2 feet is all. That part drains off proper. The belly just about touches the main though. It leads right up to it. All right, this is where the belly starts at, and you basically there's a little bit of a break in between, but it's essentially one belly here from about 27 feet to 44 feet, and it's a varying depths of water. It ranges from quarter, half inch at the start. It gets up to probably about 2 inches at its worst point. But this is a very good example. The homeowners here are doing a very good job. This is how you want your line to be treated, and it's what I've been trying to get across to people for a very long time. bellies in plastic lines like this, again, not referring to older pipe materials, that's a different animal altogether. But in newer lines like this, bellies can very much be lived with. It all comes down to how you treat them. If you put stuff down the line that builds up, that's where you're going to get problems. If you treat it right, rarely, especially when you situate them 30 plus feet out from the house, if you could even develop a blockage here theoretically, you have to fill up a good amount of pipe just to get back to the foundation wall. You probably got to go at least another 10 feet or more, 15 feet back inside the house before you're hitting your first fixture. That amount of water weight building up behind a blockage creates a lot of head pressure. And, you know, assuming your blockage is made out of proper things like toilet paper, the head pressure combined with disintegration will blow that stuff through before it ever gets back to the house. All right, and you'll see white paint markings out here. These are not my paint markings, but I'm double checking them. And that this locate is on the money. You'll see the belly starts right in the middle of the sidewalk. I'm getting about 5'8", 5'9" They wrote 6 feet down. It's close enough. Anyway, you'll see the paint markings stretching out to the road. So, from what I understand here, it sounds like the city out here does take responsibility. From the sounds of it, it sounds like it's about where the sidewalk starts, which is right around where the right-of-way would be at. I would just double-check, make sure you get that in writing from the city that they do indeed take responsibility for it. That way, in the event you ever go to sell the home and someone comes out here and starts nitpicking this thing to pieces, realistically, whether this was a city responsibility or not, even if it was in homeowner's territory, it's not a belly I'd recommend a repair on. It's not significant enough, in my opinion, combined with the fact that it is a good distance from the house, and on top of that, there is not even enough buildup in this line right now to recommend a few $100s in drain cleaning on it. If I can't even do that, I mean, recommending you tear the entire street apart is ridiculous to me. So that's my 2 cents on that. The big thing in keeping a line clean, and granted, real quick here, I'm kind of going slow here. There's a little bit of water drain to the line. This area here grades off proper. This is not standing water you're looking at. It's all flowing. The spot I'm most interested in taking a look at here is toward the start. And so part of the reason that actually looks like I've got some really bad lighting conditions out here right now. The sun's in my face. Those do look like root hairs coming down. It looks like that's a busted piece of plastic. Kind of right in front of the roots, there's a black flap there. That looks like a piece of ABS pipe is bent down inward into the pipe. Looks like the roots just blew right to the top of the line there. And we'll call it 11 feet. It's close enough to it. Now the plus side here is this is incredibly shallow and it's just under grass and dirt. Just about straight out from the clean out, about 10, 11 feet here. You'll see a green X marking in the grass. You might have to look a little closer for it. There's yard paint down on the grass right now. Green paint to spiff the yard up a little bit. Anyway, my green paint kind of hides. You'll see it though. About 2 foot 6 inches deep there. And I do recommend correcting that. And I don't know if it's related to it, but I've never actually seen this species of fly before directly over the top of that area right there. And I don't know if it's related to that spot. Because the issue is at the top of the sewer line, there really shouldn't be any sewage seeping out of there, but the smell could be attracting some. There's just a ton of flies right in that location. It may be related to that or not. I'm not sure. You typically see more stuff related to that when the hole is in the flow line that's allowing sewage to escape and letting nutrients out into the yard, and it will attract all kinds of stuff. All right, we're going backwards right now underneath the porch, and we're going to take this just till we get in through the crawl space here, and we are inside. Man, if only every homeowner could live like this line is, I mean, aside from, obviously, there's some repair issues to deal with here. Right now, that root is not affecting functionality, but it is indeed something you want to deal with. You don't want something sucking dirt down through the top of the pipe either. You can create a hole in the yard. Luckily, you'd only create a hole 2 foot 6 inches deep, luckily in this case, but not one that would swallow a car. But, you know, if that thing has a chance to grow and get worse, you don't want that to happen either. Right now, functionality, or flow anyway, is not being impeded by it, but that doesn't mean it's going to remain that way. So after any repairs are done, make sure a rescope is performed to check the work. It's very important to do that, and you want to do that when the trench is closed. If you scope the repaired area prior to burying it, you're not going to catch any settling problems that occur. You got to put a load on top of it, make sure everything looks good. The belly, for instance, out in the roadway, had you scoped the line when the trench was open, when that first got put in, probably looked perfect. It's not until you put weight on top of it where you get to see the bellies occur. So anyway, outside of the area there at 11 feet, with there's a root intrusion and also good size hole in the top of the pipe. These roots didn't even come through a pipe joint; they blew straight to the top of the sewer line. Which I don't know if there used to be a tree out here. A good sized tree is capable of doing that if it's almost directly on top of the line. Otherwise, what often causes that is underlying damage that was done to the line when it was first put in. If someone smacked the line with a shovel or an excavator bucket or something like that and put a crack in the top of the pipe, it's usually that scenario that allows roots to get through the sidewall of a line. ABS pipe is incredibly strong, and roots are a powerful force, but it's not an easy thing to go blowing a hole through ABS pipe like that. Not without usually having a pre-existing crack or something making it easy. So, outside of the root intruded area, yet you do indeed have the belly out there. Get verification that that's in city territory. Otherwise, assuming that all the bellied area and everything like that from the right-of-way on is in city responsibility, I'll focus more right now on the stuff that would be in homeowners. The only thing I'm concerned about is the root intrusion. The rest of the line here looks good on property especially, has great flow, very, very clean. Once you get out into the road, you do have some standing water there. But as the line sits right now, I mean, the belly is not going to affect functionality in any significant way unless you start helping it along, you know, again, by putting improper stuff down there. So what you can do if you're moving in here with a big, huge household full of little kids and you're concerned about things, right now the line doesn't even need cleaning, so it's a great setup. Rescope the line at the 1 year mark if you're concerned, and that will give you a baseline for how the line is handling your living habits, and it kind of will give you an idea on how you can adjust your living habits so that you mitigate buildup from occurring. But the big one is grease, cooking oil, fats. Wipe your pans out with a paper towel, pour the grease into a jar. Don't burn yourself. Make sure things cool down before you start messing around with it. But that's one of the biggest ones. And obviously, keep your balled up toilet paper, you know, wipes, flushable wipes, things like that out of the sewer line. It does a great deal to keep buildup down. And this is proof positive right here of how you can do that. You gotta be mindful of things.